Hello, humans. It's quite early still, and I'm having my coffee. And I want to talk a bit about judgment. Like, I've been observing myself the last few weeks, I guess, um, being quite extraordinary judgy for um, compared to how I know myself. So that has been quite interesting and quite confronting and also quite beautiful to witness myself in this judgy dynamic, like judging people, judging the things people do, and I'm asking myself in the moments I notice this dynamic coming up in my being, um, I am like creating space, creating a bit of distance between me, whatever me is, like the observer self, and the dynamic that is happening. So I'm seeing it as a part of my experience, but I'm not identifying with it or um, I'm not becoming it. Well, sometimes I do a little bit, but I'm trying to stay neutral, stay whole, let's say, in a way, and um, just see myself going through those movements. In this case, being a bit judgy. And what I learned is that judgment is like a cloud, like it clouds perception. It's like reality is just a hologram. Let's say a three-dimensional hologram, and our human perspectives as individuals are endless. They all have a certain trajectory, certain direction in this hologram. So people travel through reality from a certain angle, they travel at a certain speed, and they have a certain journey they've been on all these dynamics. So the direction, the speed, and the past of this trajectory, the things they have seen, shape the current experience of an individual. So we all have a unique perspective on and in the one reality. And what judgment does is that it identifies itself with one specific movement. Let's say my movement, my direction, my trajectory in the hologram of reality, and it says like, this is the standard. And this supreme perspective becomes the one value, you could say, against which the other journeys and perspectives are measured. And that's complete bullshit, obviously, because reality as a whole, you could say, this whole hologram of being is so fucking endlessly gorgeous and complex and dynamic, evolving. It's just literally mind-blowing. And the people who have had a bit of a glimpse of that through meditation, psychedelics, or just daily life, I think most people have had those moments, those flashes of like, oh, life is just so ginormous, you know. It's like traveling to a totally different culture, and just then you also get a glimpse of it, like you see that humans can live in such totally different ways, and that's just equally valid as the things you or your culture are used to. So there's just like a ginormous variety of human experience, and then we're only leaving it at the human, which is enough for now. you know, so judgment is, I would say, just placing a too great of an emphasis and value on your own individual perspective and using that as a measurement against or a standard to measure other perspectives and actions. And that's obviously a a dynamic which leads to contraction, because you're limiting reality. You're trying to fit reality into a little box or a little judgment. You're collapsing reality. You're saying, this is that is good, this is not good, this is bad, because instead of choosing the path out of judgment, which is, it feels like the way down. It's about releasing your identification with your specific personal perspective to a certain extent, which lives in the, you could say, more of the mind and the willpower areas of our being, and releasing a bit of the attachment with what's happening up here, and just softening into reality, you know, and allowing reality to expand just as it is, and that creates a sense of connection eventually to the other person. It opens up our mind to the potential reality that the other's perspective on being, on life, in life, is just as valuable as ours. Maybe even more valuable. We don't know. The only way to know is to first release judgment and to drop into this greater reality. And it feels like an opening, a softening, an expanding, but also an increasing clarity. And it can get you to a place where you can truly get a sense, a true feeling, an experience, really. It's deep, that you're able to look through the eyes of another person. And you can make it really specific, really apply this to a specific person or situation, a group of people against who you hold a certain judgment. That's what I've been doing the last few weeks, and it's beautiful to truly feel that you can look through their eyes a little bit and just get a sense of the truth of their perspective. And it does not mean that their perspective is perfect or harmonious with life, with love, or with your perspective. It can also lead to the insight that the other is indeed quite lost in a certain way. But even then, you'll probably see that there's a reason for that. The other is not lost because she or he is inherently bad. But there's always a deeper reason, a dynamic going on, which leads to humans going astray. And really seeing that and feeling into that releases judgment. It comes with a quality of peace and understanding and just clarity and compassion for what's going on there. And instead of judging the other, it leads to an understanding, and from this understanding, which is more based, you could say, in the heart, we can act, and which can mean that we push someone away to protect ourselves or to set a boundary, or maybe even use violence, physical, mental, emotional. I think those things have their place, but they should come from this deeper place of understanding. That totally changes things. So that's what I've learned. And the same thing applies to dealing with our own inner others, the parts of ourselves that we judge, push away, and hold back. Can we also let those back in through understanding, through softening? It's in many ways the same dynamic as dealing with others in the world. So yeah, I think that's the invitation of judgment, when we feel ourselves being overly judgmental. The invitation is to soften into our judgments, to let them be, to see this happening, to make space, to really look into it and see what is underneath, see whether we can understand the other, feel the other in our hearts. And the cool thing is, if you do this with anyone, you will feel a lot better. It's not just about being perfect and holy. It's about feeling good. It's about being human. It's about releasing this need to always be right and to always judge and to always fight to become someone, It's about just relaxing and existing and letting everything be, and also being able to see clearly and to sharpen, you could say, the sword of distinction to know when something is truly off, and actions need to be initiated. That's also reality. But it's so subtle. First, we need to know where our judgment is coming from. We have to see which part of it is true and which parts of it are just stemming from unnecessary, fearful contraction, because our minds, our experiences of our individual selves are just too cramped, too small for reality. And I think you can know when that's the case, because you feel bad, you feel hurt, you feel angry, you feel contracted. You're not feeling expansive and alive and peaceful and strong, grounded. When those things are lacking, you're overly contracted in some way, and it's time to go deeper. I think that's it. Have a great day, and see you on the next one.